Learn English American Idiom is now live. Streaming English training, have fun improving your skills. English Lesson 548 News plus complete use of English test, Aprende Inglés.
When we were younger, we used to sit on the grass among the flowers. We just let the days pass by. People would tell us to get a grip of ourselves and get a job. We didn't care what we were told, 'cause
Starting in 1 minute.
we used to sit on the grass and go, damn, I don't wanna grow old. I wish I could turn back time. Stay up all night singing songs on the terrace. We didn't mind sitting out in the cold. It wasn't possible to make us embarrassed. We were free. Stealing smokes from your parents. Sometimes we got a bit out of control. When they found out we ran from home just to scare them, we were free. When we were 17. When we got older, we try to stay in touch, but we had to move on. Life ran away from us. If I could go back, be 17 again, yeah, I would, just to see all my friends running around the city, acting crazy like we used to do. I wish I could turn back time. Stay up all night singing songs on the terrace. We didn't mind sitting out in the cold. It wasn't possible to make us embarrassed. We were free. Do you remember stealing smokes from your parents? Sometimes we got a bit out of control. When they found out we ran from home just to scare them, we were free. When we were 17. When we were 17.
Hello and welcome to another edition of American Idiom, number 548. How are you today? I hope that you're doing good. I'm doing good myself. My name is Domi or Sunny, and these are classes of English. Last week we stopped on Monday, and we couldn't continue because I was running a cold. I still have it. I haven't come clean out of it, but I am little by little coming out. So little bit of patience. Today we're going to start by doing some revision of news that we haven't done in quite a while, and I like it. It's kind of entertaining, and we can read a little bit of the beginning of it, just to see some not crazy but curious news that probably will not appear at the beginning of a TV show or TV news. Okay, so we're gonna go to that and start working on this. So today is our lesson 548. This is English. This is an English class. This is English Lessons TV, broadcasted by American Idiom, and this is Domi, your host of tonight's show. Okay, so we're gonna go to the first of them. So in this case, I don't know if any of you knows or is familiar with the name George Carlin. He's a stand-up comedian from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. He died in 2008. Well, just 48 hours ago, a movie or a stand-up comedy of 1 hour of George Carlin has come up. Okay, but actually, it's not George Carlin. It's an impersonation of George Carlin, who died some 16 years ago, and there is an artificial intelligence imitating his voice and his acting to a T. So this has been a curiosity for some people, and something really scary for others, because the voice of George Carlin is exact. It looks like him, okay, and it talks like him, and it's just been an artificial intelligence. So the way they are copying now humans is so realistic that you wouldn't actually make or tell a difference unless you knew very well that man. But for the rest of mortals, we wouldn't be able to say one from the other. It's impossible to tell it apart. Say, shocked. Daughter of comedy legend speaks out after artificial intelligence generated special. So CNN's Frederica Whitefield talks with Kelly Carling, daughter of the legendary comedian George Carlin, about a new AI-generated special on YouTube that she says emulates her father. Well, try as much as you can to find the video, but I think that you're not going to be able to find it. I haven't been able to find it myself anywhere. I know that the video exists and you can listen to the video, but you can't see it. Okay, it's been retired from YouTube. Okay, only the listening remains there. You can actually listen to it if you want. It looks like a human. It actually is imitating the voice of a human, but it's an artificial intelligence if we are to believe what everybody is saying. Okay, I don't know that you should, but it is what it is. So thank you, Anas, for the nice comments. Welcome back. You missed me. Thank you very much for missing me. I'm just a normal person. Possibly I will be substituted by an AI soon. Yes, and I'll go to the unemployment office like everyone else if they don't stop this mess. Okay, so let's turn to the next one. Well, actually, if you have anything to say about it, just now is the moment to do that. I actually strongly recommend that you do. Sorry, I was just checking one thing. So I strongly recommend that you do. Then, a new movie. I don't know if you knew Kirsten Stewart. Okay, there's a new movie by Kirsten Stewart. Says at Sundance. Sundance is a city for a competition. A Sundance, a reckoning with our digital selves, and it's talking about this documentary says at the start of As We Speak is a documentary by J.M. Harper that is premiered at this month's Sunday's Film Festival. Rapper Kemba enters an electronics store. Is investigating the rise of court cases in which rappers have had their lyrics used against them. Curiosity. And needs to send some messages. He picks out an old Motorola two-way pager, no internet, no social media to keep things off the grid. When you take things or keep things off the grid, you want to keep yourself away from social media or away from the hustle and bustle, from all the noise of media. You're trying to keep things off the grid. The grid is the popular part of media. Okay, so maybe, just maybe, this documentary or movie or a movie doc is going to create a tendency of trying to use less social media, going back to mobile phones where people talk to each other. I don't know if that is going to be the case. So I just wanted to show you the difference between the first news about substituting people in comedy by artificial intelligence that is impossible to tell apart from real humans, and this documentary that is going back to using mobile phones with buttons and no social media. Let's go to the next. The next one is something that has been going on for the last 48 hours before everybody knew. I hope that you were not on the moon, and you know that the Super Bowl is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs against the San Francisco 49ers. Yesterday, the two games happened, and I don't know if you knew it, but it's actually going to happen. And they were speculating that the logo is actually telling what teams are going to be in there. Okay, in Las Vegas. Say social media is a buzz. A buzz is all the rage, is buzzing with Super Bowl 58 logo theory, which some believe predicts the two teams who will play in Las Vegas. And there's a whole theory about it. It's saying that there are many of the logos that actually have given away the colors of the teams who were going to participate in there. Okay, I've been taking a look at that, and actually, well, I can't say anything. It's just a theory, I suppose all of this is going to be speculating a lot about what is going on with the league until the day of the Super Bowl, which happens to be on the 18th next month. Okay, let's move on to the next one. The next one is still talking about this, but there's a curiosity because you can see Purdy there. Purdy is the quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers, okay? It says here, benefits of color. This is from the CNN, okay? I'm not inventing anything. It says, if in truth, a logo theory or a script plays no part in a team's success. However, for the 49ers, their iconic red, gold, and white color scheme might actually play a part in their success. Why? It's according to an article titled Winners Wear Red, How Colors Twist Your Mind by Daniel Elkan. Maybe you can take a look at it. It says having red in your uniform could have an impact on how success in sports. Maybe there's something in there that resonates with the truth, because as you may know, the Dallas Cowboys were nothing red, okay, is blue and silver, and we haven't won the Super Bowl since 1996. So it's been a long desert of almost 30 years. Says Elgan cites a number of studies across multiple sports, not only American football, but multiple sports, which suggest that teams and athletes who have red in their kits are more successful in their chosen field. Okay, in the chosen field is in the sport, you mean. According to Robert Barton, who alongside fellow anthropologist Russell Hill published a study which looked at the influence of red in Olympic combat sports ahead of the 2004 Olympics in Athens, competitors in that color did marginally better. So would you say that there's something in there that might resonate with the truth? That is teams in sports, in any kind of sports that wear red, are more successful or prone to be more successful? Would you agree with that? Well, now thinking of my team of soccer, which has always been FC Barcelona, they wear red. Okay, traditionally their jersey is red and blue. All right, so it's an intense red, if I'm not mistaken. So would you say that resonates with the truth? Because if I'm not mistaken, the most important team in the history is Manchester United, and they were red, right? Aren't they wearing a red jersey, like all red jersey? Actually, they call them the Reds, no? Am I telling something that is bullshit? But then again, you have Real Madrid, the most laureated team in the world of soccer, and is only wearing white, or they used to only wear white. Don't know if that actually fits in here. I don't know. But does your favorite team wear red or any other color? Or you think this is bullshit? In the meantime, while you're commenting about this one, or about this one, or about this other one, or finally about the one about the artificial intelligence, let's move to the last one that I have. This one is about cicadas. Cicadas are an insect that has a very particular way of living. So cicadas have wings, as you can see, but they rarely fly. What happens with these animals? Okay, these animals live under the soil. Okay, they live in deep in the earth. Okay, in the soil. And every 13 years they emerge. Okay, not all cicadas happen at the same time. There are different broods that appear differently. Okay, so there's a curiosity this year, because in a matter of a couple of 3 months, there are going to be billions of cicadas that are going to appear in a double brood emergence. What does it mean? It means that cicadas appear in cycles that are prime numbers. Okay, the more normal one is 13, because that makes the least possible times that different broods appear at the same time. Okay, they only happen once or twice every 200 years. Okay, and there's a lot of mathematicians that have made the calculations of this, and this is actually the most optimal number in order to coincide the least times out in the open air. Okay, so that they don't mix and they don't lose their cycles. Okay, but this year there's something curious happening that hasn't happened in more than 200 years. It says in a matter of months they will dig their way out from underground, red eyes shining, deafening song filling the air. They're very noisy. Actually, they don't attack or anything, but they're very noisy. The reason why they go out is just to mate. They go out every 13 years, they mate, and then they go back in. And basically, there are billions of them out there flying. Okay, and the noise that you hear is really, really deafening. And their predators, the only thing they have to do is to open the mouth, and they eat a lot of them. Okay, the only thing that makes the cicada defend itself is that they are going out in billions of them. This is how they never disappear, because they are in billions of them. It's very curious. You should read about the cicada. And the only reason why they go out is because they need to mate. So this is going to be curious, because they're going to mate with another brood that is not supposed to be there. Okay, so they're going to be one of these red appearances. So it says here that it will be a confluence of creatures, the likes of which, this is a very nice expression, the likes of which hasn't been seen in the United States since Thomas Jefferson. So these cicadas brood haven't coincided out since Thomas Jefferson because of these 13-year cycles. Okay, so after 200 years, they haven't been coincided again thanks to this pattern of the prime number 13. Okay, so since Thomas Jefferson, who was in office from 1801 to 1802 to 1806, if I'm not mistaken, because he is the responsible of the Louisiana Purchase in 1803. They will since then they haven't appeared. Okay, it's been more than 200 years. Wow. So it won't happen again until 2245. It's a rare emergence of insects some are referring to as cicada apocalypse. Cicada apocalypse, because they're going to count them by the billions and billions. So definitely this is something that many people will talk about. It happens basically in the south of the United States. So I strongly recommend that you take a look at that. It's interesting. Alright, so I finished with this, so nobody is commenting anything about it. Okay, so we'll move on. And we're going to do today an exam. Everybody's going to do an exam. So what kind of exam are we going to do? We're going to do 3 exercises together that are going to conform the first certificate grammar exam. It's the use of English. Okay? Remember that the use of English is 28 questions. I know that there might be people thinking, but Domi, it starts in number 9, 10, 11. Yes, because there's one exercise before the exercise of the part 1. But the part 1 is reading. Okay? Remember that it's a reading, not a use of English. Okay? There might be people saying, Domi, that's bullshit. No, it's not bullshit. The only numbers that are counting for the use of English are actually 28 points. Let's count them. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you can get 8 points, maximum 8 out of 8. Then 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, if we divide 16 into 2, that's 8. So that means that we have 8 in this one and 8 in this one. Okay? And then the part 4. The part 4, every one of the gaps is going to give you a maximum of 2 points. Okay? So we had 16 in the parts 3 and 4. Now, 2 more. That's 18. 2 more. That's actually 20. 2 more. That's 22. 2 more. That's 24. 2 more. That's 26. And 2 more. That is the 28 that you are going to get. Okay? And there's nothing more. Okay? So at the end of the day, when you have your magical number of your performance, you actually can ask me and I will give you your mark according to the Cambridge English Scale. For those of you who don't know what the Cambridge English Scale is, let me show you what it is. Okay? 1 second, I'm going to show you in a second. Let's take a look at what it is.
The Cambridge English Scale is the new and enhanced way we will be reporting results for some of our exams from 2015. It builds on the way we currently report results and is based on many years of research. It will provide simpler, clearer, and more detailed results. What is the Cambridge English Scale? The Cambridge English Scale is a range of scores used to report results for Cambridge English exams. You may be familiar with the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages, or CEFR. It is the international standard for describing ability in languages.
Let's stop there 1 second. So we have A1 is beginners. Okay, A1 is beginners. A2 is a little bit higher than A1. Then this is what we call the KET exam. Okay, if you want to sit for the A2, that's the KET exam, the Key English test. Then we move to the independent user. Independent user means that you could actually buy a book and learn on your own. Okay, it is still hard, but you can do it. So we have B1 and B2. Being B1 a little bit lower than B2. B1, when you are in there in between 140 and 160, you are what we call a PET candidate. Okay, a PET candidate is a person who can sit for the exam of preliminary English test, and that is the one pertaining to B1. Then next on the scale is the B2. The B2 is between 160 and 180, and that is the first certificate candidate or exam. Okay, then once you move over these, you go to the C scope. What is the C scope? The C scope is the ones where you have a C1 and C2. Okay, these are the high levels, where C2 is the highest possible. The maximum you can get is 230, and the minimum you need to score on a C1 is 180 to 200. In each of these exams, if you score over 90%, they conceded you, because of your effort, the higher mark. I mean, if you're sitting for a PET exam for a B1 and you score over 90%, they concede you the B2. Okay, seen it before. Let's continue watching.
And is a broad reference scale of language proficiency. The Cambridge English Scale is designed to complement the CEFR. The difference is that the scale gives a more detailed result than the CEFR alone. See how both of these candidates are at level B2, but their scores on the scale
You
show
can see
one
that
has
clearly.
a higher level of English than
Of
the
course.
other. Results for almost all Cambridge English exams will be reported on the Cambridge English Scale, starting with Cambridge English First, including First for Schools, Cambridge English Advanced, and Cambridge English Proficiency.
Let's stop there one more time. As you can see, I was telling you that at the B2, you get between 160 and 180, right? So that is when you get or obtain a degree C or a degree B. What happens if you score over 90%? Well, the 90% to 100% is the grade A. When you get a grade A in first certificate, you can see how it says first certificate here. You're stepping in the scope of C1. Do you see that? That it finishes here, but it goes a little bit over there. This grade A is in the scope of advanced. Now, if we go to the advanced, the same happens. There's here a line over the 200. That's the grade A. That means that if you're advanced and you score over 90%, they're going to give you a recognition of a C2. Are you getting the C2 proficiency exam? No, because the whole exam that you took was a C1. What they're going to give you is in the B2, saying that you were over the average. Okay, over the average. So you're probably doing the wrong kind of exam, because you should have set for the C2. And then at the end, finally, we have the C2, where the grade A is simply an honor, a distinction, because there's nothing beyond that. All right, so I hope that you find this appropriate.
IELTS is mapped to, but will not be reported on the Cambridge English Scale.
Yes, the IELTS is the one that you need in the United States, Canada, some Australia, and some other places.
Our exams are focused on different levels of the CEFR, and they are mapped to particular points on the scale. No matter which exam is taken, the same level of ability is represented by the same score.
In a utopian world,
The
definitely.
candidate who scores 185, taking Cambridge English First, would be expected to achieve 185 in Cambridge English Advanced.
That is not exactly true.
This will make results easier to understand. It will also be clear to see how a learner progresses through our exams. How does it work? Scores on the Cambridge English scale replace the standardised score and the candidate profile. Candidates receive an overall score on the Cambridge English scale, which determines the grade and CEFR level they obtain. Candidates also receive scores for each language skill they are tested on: reading, writing, speaking and listening, and use of English.
And the average is what you
Looking
get.
at the new statement of results, you can see what the candidate has achieved in each of the different skills.
And you can
how
clearly
their
see
performance in one skill
177 and
compares to performance in another.
173 need to improve.
These detailed results make it simple to describe the level of language skills needed for university admission or employment.
Mhm.
Candidates and teachers also benefit from having better information about performance.
You can see how
making
this
it
one
easier
is
to identify
under
areas for improvement.
160.
Want to know more? The Cambridge English Scale is based on our extensive research and has been developed in response to feedback from users of our exams. To find out more, go to cambridgeenglish.org/Cambridge English Scale.
Okay, so this is it. I hope that you find this interesting. So that's what we're going to be doing. So let's start from the beginning, and at the end, when we get the score, we will check which one is each of you. Okay, so let's start from the very beginning. It says motivation, motivation, motivation. It is a well-known fact that success in sport requires a great deal patience, hard work, and motivation. I'll give you 20 seconds. It is a well-known fact that success in sport requires a great deal patience, hard work, and motivation.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so I don't know if you have thought of the word off, but off with one F is the correct. Off, okay? So let me write it. Off. Maybe it's a bit too. Yes, like this. Off. So a great deal of, let's highlight it because it means a lot of. Great deal of is a lot of. Okay. Let's go to the number 10. Says bad. Is this best achieved? Bad. Is this best achieved? Okay. Patience, hard work, and motivation. But how this best achieved? I'll give you 20 seconds. Let's put some music. I'm going to try to find something that is more appropriate.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I'll just leave it like this. Anybody? Are you just writing it down? Are you writing it down? Hope you are, because here's the next answer is, but how is this best achieved? How? How is this best achieved? How is this best achieved? There are two kinds of motivation. The first is called extrinsic motivation, and it comes external influences such as money or social recognition. I'll read that again. The first is called extrinsic motivation, and it comes external influences such as money or social recognition. Can anybody tell me? No? It's about to finish.
5, 4,
4, 3,
2, 1.
It comes from external influences. The word is from. It comes from external influences, such as money or social recognition. The second kind of motivation is intrinsic. Means it is generated by the individual alone who does things because they want to. I'll read that again. The second kind of motivation is intrinsic. Means it is generated by the human alone who does things because they want to. Okay? What can it be? Anybody? Oh, the answer is which means. The second kind of motivation is intrinsic, which means it is generated by the individual alone who does things because they want to. But does this mean for athletes? Anybody? Anna says with. No, it's not with. We're in 13, huh? Yes. What? Yes. But what does this mean for athletes? What does this mean for athletes? A highly motivated person would clearly be keener to perform better than a lone motivated one. I'll read that again. A highly motivated person would clearly be keener to perform better than a lower motivated one. So a person who cleans being happy cleans better than one who isn't. Okay, that is definitely correct. Yes, let's continue. It says, on the hand, someone with greater motivation can train hard and beat another one more talented athlete who lacks the driving force. Who lacks the driving force means that he is not very good at explosive movements. Okay, and you say other. On the other hand, yes. On the other hand, someone with greater motivation can train hard and beat another more talented athlete who lacks that driving force. Let's move to this one. It says, however, being automated does automatically mean that people perform better. I'll read that again. However, being motivated does automatically mean that people perform better. Surprisingly, athletes can fail because they are overmotivated. They may well hint to perform well that they mentally go beyond their physical limits. Okay, that's a bit
Thank you for the follow, Durcax.
Thank you very much. I don't know what's going on, but today my I don't know how to call it. My screen is not showing the things that are happening. I don't know the reason why. I actually need to look at it, because you see, for example, the confetti is, the audio is, but the video is not happening, and I don't know the reason why. I actually don't know, because it's supposed to be sound alerts. Yes, sound alerts is, one moment, I'm trying to find what the problem might be. Stream avatars, stream stickers, chat box, Spanish captions, Countdown, emote well, confetti, browser source. Alert box, maybe? One moment. Browser. Advanced. I don't know. I actually have no idea how to do that, so I will ask later. Okay, so let's go to the number 25. It says, however, being motivated does automatically mean that people perform better. Does anybody know? However, being motivated does automatically mean that people perform better. Surprisingly, athletes can fail because they are overmotivated. They may be keen to perform well, that they mentally go beyond their physical limits. Anybody tell me the 15? Being motivated does... No? I'll give you 20 seconds.
Five,
Four,
three,
two.
one.
Does not mean that people perform better. Does not mean. However, being motivated does not automatically mean that people perform better. Surprisingly, athletes can fail because they are overmotivated. They may be too keen to perform well. Too no. So keen. Yeah, so because they were so keen to perform because of the okay? They may be so keen to perform well that they mentally go beyond their physical limits. How would you go, for what thing would you go beyond your physical limits? Have you ever thought of it? Of what would you do in order to demonstrate, for example, that you love somebody? Would you perform something beyond your personal limits? I've never done it. I don't think I would. But that's only my opinion. Okay, guys, I'm gonna get me something to eat, and I'll be back in 1 minute. Okay, just give me a sec. I'm gonna be standing now. Back in 20 seconds. I was a bit hungry. Eating a little bit now will open my eyes. It's not that this is boring, guys. It's that I've been working since 7 in the morning non-stop. Okay. So surprisingly, athletes can fail because they are overmotivated. So they may be so keen to perform well that they mentally go beyond their physical limits. So, for example, I can put the example of I was so entertained that I lost track of time. Okay? That means that you are to a certain limit of something, that there is a consequence. Okay? Can you guys put me an example of this? Can you? In the meantime, I'm going to move to the next one. Well, actually, that's it. We have finished it. So, how many points have you got from this? How many did you find the correct one? Can anybody tell me? How many points did you get from this? The maximum you can get is 8. Did you get 5? Did you get 6? Did you get a perfect? You should on average be minimum 5, okay? To have a shot at the first certificate exam. Otherwise, you need to continue training. Let's go to the next. The next one is the part 3. In part 3, you need to transform words in order to fit them in the gap provided. Remember that the word provided will be in the same line. Okay? So let's start from the beginning. It says, how to be a better friend. How to be a better friend. So how good a friend are you really? How good a friend are you really? And could you be a better one? The best kind of friends are good, and we need to transform the word listen to something that fits in the number 17. As always, I'll give you 20 seconds. Think of the word.
Five, four,
Or,
3, 2, 1.
and the word you need is listener. Listener. The best kind of friends are good listeners. Exactly, because people want to explain their problems. So if you can be the typical guy who listens to the problems, you're going to have lots of friends. Especially if you know how to listen. So not interrupting, agreeing occasionally, smiling all the time. That's how we like to be listened to, right? In an honest way. Being sent constant feedback that what we're saying is interesting. Like, yeah, no way, really? And what did you do? Oh my God. These are the typical follow-ups that people love to hear. So if you want to be a good listener, you better get trained to do this well. So that means resisting every urge to butt in. To butt in is to interrupt. and holding back your opinion until it's needed or required. Okay? Even if you don't agree with what your friends say or does. This reminds me of a book that I read a long time ago. It's considered the first self-help book. Okay, it's 13 Virtues by Benjamin Franklin, one of the founding fathers of the United States. Okay, he believed, Benjamin Franklin, that there were 13 virtues, 13 characteristics that made a man a person of respect. Okay, and that was he had divided these virtues by difficulty, being the easiest one, the first to attain, and the last one, the last to attain. And one of these virtues was speak only to the benefit of others. One of them was speak, but only to benefit other people. Okay? So actually, by not speaking, you were actually considered a good friend. Okay? If you only listen to. Yeah, do not give your opinion unless it's required. You know? A good friend will always require your opinion or your angle. Otherwise, you're owner of what you keep for you and a slave of what you say. Remember those words. You're an owner, but you're entitled to the secrets you have. So if you don't want to reveal your ideas, you better keep them for yourself, unless they're required. So says here that means resisting every urge to butt in and holding back your opinion until it's needed, even if you don't agree with what your friend says or does. Try to be as possible. Asking for help is hard for anyone. Asking for help is... I don't understand this. Try to be as possible. Okay, asking for help is hard for anyone. So be the first to offer. Okay, because they might need help and they may not be in a position confident enough to ask you. So be the first one to offer the hand. Actually, they say that there's no second chance for a first impression. So if they get the impression that you offer help without having it being required, or you have the ability to do that, they might rely more on you because they know that you can recognize that easily. While others know. So try to be number 18. What do you think? You need to transform the word sympathy to fit in there. The number 18. For those of you who might be new to the show or have just recently been here and you never take the chance of writing, remember that this is a class of English. We've been here for 548 sessions. We have all the full intention of reaching 1,000. Okay, that's our objective, reaching 1,000. And we would like that you participated in this with us. Okay, so if you want to say something, remember, you have to transform the word sympathy to fit in the number 18. Try to be as sympathetic as possible. Let's write it down. Sympathetic. Which is understand other people's feelings. Try to be as sympathetic as possible. Asking for help is hard for anyone. So be the first to offer. To offer what? Be the first to offer. I'll give you 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Assistance. Assistance. Be the first to offer assistance. Okay, assistance is help. Okay, let's move on to the second part. It says, if your friend takes you up on it, will they love you for being, and even if they don't, you will certainly have made the good thing that I commented to you before. Yes, it says, if your friend takes you up on it, they love you for being what? Anybody? If your friend takes you up on it, they love you for being 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. For being supportive. For being supportive. Are you a supportive person? If you know that a friend has issues, do you call them? Do you try to help them? Do you try to spend time with them? Are you a supportive person? So remember, supportive. That means that you give support. So they love you for being supportive. And even if they don't, you will certainly have made a good on them. So number 21. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the answer is impression. Impression. Actually, we respect the double S. So impression. So they cause good impression. You made good impression on them. Okay, remember that there's no second chance for a first impression. But be careful what you say. Everyone loves gossiping, but only when negative or pleasant comments are not aimed at them. Unpleasant, I would say. It's unpleasant because of negative. So when negative or unpleasant comments are not aimed at them. Okay. So only when negative or unpleasant comments are not aimed at them. Be patient. Don't expect your advice to be taken at that moment, or your friend to be cheered up. Don't expect your advice to be taken at that moment, or your friend to be cheered up. Anybody? Number 3. Can anybody say anything? No? Unhappy. Unhappy friend. Don't expect advice to be taken at that moment, or your unhappy friend to be cheered up. To be cheered up. We have the word instant. So it's actually, don't expect that your unhappy friend will be cheered up. Do you know? You need the instantly. Remember, we're using with li because we're describing the verb to cheer up instantly. Okay? Remember, true friends are in a relationship for the long haul. True friends are in a relationship for the long haul. The long haul is a very, very long flight. Yes, especially flight. So that's a long haul. For example, imagine that you have to transport a cargo from Alaska to, I don't know, to Miami. Okay, or worse, to Galicia. Okay, so that will be a long haul flight. A long haul flight because it's heavy and at the same time it's very long. Okay, a long haul. Are you in a long haul when you go from Barcelona to Madrid? Is that a long haul? No, that's not a long haul. Okay, so we have finished with this one. Now you should be counting which are the points that you have. Remember, you have 1 point for each. We have listeners. Try to be as sympathetic as possible. Then we have in assistance, to offer assistance. To offer assistance. Then we have in the number 20, supportive. Being supportive. Number 21, good impression. Made a good impression. Number 22, unpleasant, negative or unpleasant comments or comments. 23, your unhappy friend. Yes, to be your unhappy friend. And the up instantly. Okay? The number 24 is instantly, is to be cheered up instantly. Okay, so that's what it is. Let's go to the last exercise. Remember that this is out of 8. So out of 8, how many points do you have? Remember, you also have this one. Out of the 8, how many points did you get? Okay, how many points did you get in this one? How many points did you get in this one? Let's go to the last one. Okay. Remember that the minimum words that you need to fit in here is 2 and the maximum is 5. Okay, minimum 2, maximum 5. And for the first time, we're gonna be doing it together. Part of a first certificate exam, and I'll give you, if you ask me, the how can I say this? The real vocabulary that fits in there. Okay, because unfortunately now I don't have it. Okay, so it says in the event of heavy snow, we will cancel the game. Remember, minimum 2, maximum 5, and the word it needs to be there. Anybody? In the event of heavy snow, I like this expression, in the event of. It's like saying, imagine, okay? In the event of a snow or heavy snow, you have to use it and in an if. No? Okay, the answer is if it snows heavily. If it snows heavily, we will cancel the game. If it snows heavily. Yes? Now, if you have it snows, you have 1 point. You have it out heavily, you have another point. You have the 2, you get good points. Okay? Let's go to the next. if you don't do any practice, you won't get any better. I'll read that again. If you don't do any practice, you won't get any better. No, you won't get any better unless no, if you don't do any practice, you won't get any better. You won't get any better unless you do some practice. You won't get any better unless you practice, or unless you do some practice. You won't get any better unless you do some and that's it. Unless you do some practice. You won't get any better unless you do some practice, or you do practice. Some practice sounds better. Anyway, unless you do is 1 point, and some practice is 1 point. Yes? Let's move to the 27. We're 4 away from finishing. We should get to the airport on time if there isn't any heavy traffic on the motorway. We should get to the airport on time if there isn't any heavy traffic on the motorway. And we have as and one more word. Remember, minimum 2, maximum 5. Okay? We shouldn't get to the airport in time. No heavy traffic on the motorway. We should get to the airport on time. No idea. So what you need in here is as long as. So we should get to the airport in time as long as there's no heavy traffic on the motorway. So as long as should be 1. And there's the other one. We should get to the airport on time as long as there is no heavy traffic on the motorway. Let's go to 28. 28 says, you missed the plane. You didn't check on time. You missed the plane because you didn't check in on weather. You missed the plane because you didn't check in on time. I suppose it's talking because I've never missed the plane. I can't really give you any feedback on this one because I've never missed the plane. Have you ever missed a plane, or have you missed any connecting flight, or has it ever happened that you saw people just left on the piste on the runway because they had or lied, or they had been, I don't know, maybe not in my case. I remember one occasion that when I had just gotten married, um, my family members who came to see the wedding had to leave at a specific timing, and we had gone for a reason to a hospital, and some of them were very close. It was a matter of touch and go because of this, because the plane, they thought that it was going to be called or cancelled or retarded, and it didn't. But I've never missed a plane. So you missed the plane because you didn't check in on time. Okay, so we need to say pretty much the same. If you had checked in on time, you would have caught the plane. You would have caught. Okay. If you had checked in on time, we would have caught the plane. Yes? If you had checked in on time, we would have caught the plane. I'm going to write it down. You would have caused. We would have caught the plane. We would have caught the plane. Okay. Let's move to the 29. Says, I want to go to Australia, but I don't have enough money. And this is a third conditional. Right? No, second conditional. If I had enough money, to, if I had enough money to go to Australia. Or you can say, if I had enough money, comma, I would go to Australia. If I had enough money, I would go to Australia. So you are fantasizing. If I had enough money, I would go to Australia. If I had enough money, I would go to Australia. And the last one, the 30. The man living next door always sings loudly in the morning. Okay? The man, something live next to me. What's the movie? No? Is the man who, okay, the man who always sings loudly, the man who lives next door to me always sings loudly in the morning. The man who lives next door to me, or next door to mine. Yes, so I'm going to write that down. The man who always sings loudly in the morning. So, okay. So how many points do you have? Remember, the minimum 0, maximum 2. How many points do you have? The maximum points you can get is 28. So remember that this one's count double. So there's a double point here, and another here, another here, another here, and another here, and another here. Okay, so you have double points of everything, it's actually a little money. Okay. Yes. Okay, so you will see that there have been um, some answers that are divided. The reason why they are divided is because you can still get a 50% of it. So out of 28, normally people get around 26 to 30. Okay, if you got over 35, you already have a green light to go, because you have a great opportunity. Okay, because you still have this fresh. All right, so tomorrow, those ones who may have finished it, you can tell me what the result was. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope you have had the entertainment that I wanted you to get. I've been trying to the best of my ability to keep this entertaining. Thank you for being there. And now we're not going to do the rate because there's only one person viewing. Thank you very much, Anas, for watching us. Remember that this was the lesson 548. I hope to see you tomorrow back for more with some more interesting exercises.